All right, part two. Part two is kind of fun. So what I have you do is I have you pick out any place that you love to go out to eat. It could be a fast food place, it could be a sit down place, it could be anywhere really where you love to go get food. So to give you some ideas, the one thing that you do need is to find a place that you can access the nutritional information for that food. So for instance, I know Portillo's is not really good about offering the nutritional quality of their food. I do give you a list right here, and this is a mega list of fast food menus that you can actually sort through. I have a ton of them here. I opened up McDonald's. So if you look through here, I have this massive collection from some sit down places like Olive Garden and Red Robin to Chili's, but also kind of some of those faster food type of places like B Dubs or Bona or any of those types of places. You're more than welcome to use a place that is not in the list, but again, you have to have the nutritional information for that. So I have you real simple. Just tell me, what your restaurant choice is right here. How often do you eat that food? Give me a couple of reasons why you love that food. And that should be kind of fun. But the important part of part two is that you're going to give me the meal, including a drink that you have when you go there. So you may need only a couple of these items. You may need more for some of you, right? So let's just say, for instance, I am going to go to McDonald's, right? So what I would do is I would pick the items that I would eat or drink at that restaurant in that one sitting, and I would just build out, right? So if my item one might be a Big Mac, right? I'm going to find the total calories, saturated fat, total fat, and sodium for that one item, right? And I can find those inside of the nutritional information. I'm going to add a couple other things to my item, make it realistic for what you eat. And I do know some of you aren't huge fast food eaters, so pick a different restaurant, or you can pick a meal that is maybe something that you have had or you would have if you're not a regular eater, right? So we're going to go through, and maybe I'm going to add fries to this. Maybe I'll add a six-piece chicken nugget. I don't know what you all eat, but this should get to be really more personalized towards you and what you do when you go out to eat. So the important thing is, when you're done with this, if you look here on the bottom, what I want you to do is I want you to total up for your meal how many total calories you've had, how much total fat, saturated fat, as well as sodium. So that's pretty easy. So what I'm doing is I'm just adding my meal up, right? That's really all I'm adding. And then what I have you do at the bottom part of this, and I try to color code it. It might be easier, it might be more confusing, but what I have you do is determine what this one meal provides you. And I think this is where the shock value starts to come in with some of fast food, right? So I say this one meal provides me, how many calories, right? So when you add that meal up, it says how many calories of my blank recommended amount of calories. Remember, a lot of you have different recommendations based off of your dietary guidelines. So all of these recommendations are going to be from part one. So if I'm eating, right, so maybe this is giving me 1,500 calories of my given 2,800 calories per day, right? So maybe this whole entire meal is giving me whatever, we'll call it 40 grams of saturated fat of my 31, right? So what this is starting to do is starting to give you a concrete idea of what this type of food is providing you. In the purple of this section, this is probably the only thing that requires some basic math. What you're getting is the math required for you to figure out what this one meal provides you from a dietary guideline standpoint, right? So what you'll need to do is you'll need to go find the information in part one to do your basic math on. So I gave you an example down here at the bottom. So this is the percent of your recommended daily allowance. So I say, in order to calculate this, you'd have to figure out how much you're supposed to have. So that's a little bit different. So at this point in part one, you figured out your total calories, you figured out your grams of fat, total fat, saturated fat, as well as sodium, right? So you're doing some basic math, and you're going to put that there. I think some of you are going to be really shocked when you start to find how poor the nutritional quality of that food really is.